Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to a Tuesday edition of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Along with G. Bush, Tyvis Powell, I'm Adam the Bull. We got Steve, we got Mike on the other side of the glass, Earl up in his cove. Anthony is sick for the 82nd time.
I hate G, man.
I mean, what happens more? Anthony is sick or G is injured? What is more frequent?
I'm still injured.
You still rocking the no boot?
No, the boot's out.
Listen, here's the thing.
He's going with the Deshaun Watson method.
So when they told me, that's why. You know what they told me when they hit me. There's like, oh, you can't injure it anymore. It's just gonna hurt like hell. And I was like, for real? There's like, yeah, you're gonna have to get them taken out. So by the way, I just got bone fragments. It's just fragments floating around in there.
Yeah.
They showed me on there. I can show you my X-ray. I got my X-rays the other day. Look kind of nasty.
G is kind of like you should if the X-Men were real, you'd be one of the X-Men because you got like extra bones.
Yeah.
Like you're a mutant.
So
I think
I got this. I got this very rare thing called osteochondroma. It's not even. I don't know. It's
Osteoglaucoma.
No. That's you said osteoglaucoma. That's not it.
That's your eyes.
That's it. And some would say you got glasses on. So I got that too. So osteochondroma is this thing where you have this thing where your body creates excess calcium. Note to self, note to people, I have not drank milk in years.
You don't need it.
Well, I come to find out I didn't. So I got these. So I had an extra bone growing in my leg when I was in high school. They took it out and it grew back.
Like you could be Wolverine, I think.
I could, man.
I think that's possible.
Yeah, so I got these. So now I have this osteochondroma because I think I kind of fractured my ankle, didn't know it. And so if you have trauma to an area, it's very rare in the ankle. It's like 10% of people have any issues with their ankle where I got it. Mm-hmm. And so they showed me the X-ray and I got the little bones and they just growing outside into the skin.
That is crazy.
And so that's why it's just painful as all get out.
But yet you don't want to wear the boot. You say all this to say you ain't wearing the boot.
I say all that to say this because so I wear the boot and because it is a walking boot, McNuggets knows this, because it is a walking boot, so I partially tore my Achilles on my right ankle.
Okay.
And this is the knee that I got this the bad knee. This is G. Bush's literal bad knee.
That's my left one.
Like everybody got one. Yeah. So this knee is solid. This is good. But the problem is when I put the walking cast and the air cast on this one, there's an unevenness to it. And so when I'm walking like this and I'm acting like I'm dancing and I'm flowing, that's kind of nice. I be doing that. And this knee swells like up huge.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, I don't want this thing to be acting up. And I'm like, well, which hurts worse? When my ankle does hurt, but
walk around with two boots on.
No.
Double boot? Double boot? That has never been done.
That is never, except remember Gary Baxter tore both his ACLs?
Was he double booting?
Gary Baxter tore both of his ACLs on the same play. I've never seen that for the Cleveland Browns.
Do you know that if you actually hurt a foot, it's better to hurt the left foot than the right one? Because if you put a boot on the right, you can't drive.
That's it. Yep. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to drive with your left foot?
Man,
you will tear something up
because it's just muscle memory.
Speaking of, y'all know I got in an accident this morning.
Who did?
Me.
You got into an accident?
I mean, a little something.
Why didn't you just telling us now? You've been here a half an hour.
It just dawned on me because it wasn't like a serious
a minor thing.
I was in an Uber. I was going to the car rental place, and the Uber driver stops, and this car came and smacked the back.
Damn.
I was like, oh man, I should have got out of here on my neck. They like,
what was the guy driving? It was a fancy car.
It was like a Buick. He was driving a Buick or something. Right. He hit it. Boom. And what happened was my Uber driver, he didn't really speak. He speak English, but it wasn't that great. So he like, hey, I need you to, say something, blah, blah, blah. You know me, I don't get in people's business. If it ain't got nothing to do with me, so I really don't want to get involved.
All right.
So he's out there, he's chit-chatting with the kid. This kid had to be like 19, 20 years old, right? And the kid goes, he's like, well, there is no damage.
Yeah.
He's like, it was a little couple of chip paint and stuff that, but it ain't nothing major. And I'm like, oh. He was like, well, what should I call the police? And I'm like, well, if it ain't no major damage, you ain't got to do that. So the kid said, well, I give you $200. We live in 2025. Somebody say you give you $200. All right, what's your Venmo? What's your Cash App? Apple Pay, PayPal, all these things.
Yeah.
The kid said, well, I'm going to go home and go get the money.
Yeah, right.
The kid hit a U-turn, and I told that Uber driver, you ain't never seen that $200. So he dropped me off, and that was it. And then Uber called me and was like, yeah, what happened with the accident and blah, blah, blah. So I explained the scenario and all those
Where's
things.
your car, by the way?
My car?
Yeah.
It's at home.
Why?
Why is it at home? Because my wife is driving. My kid is going to preschool today, so my wife needed.
Oh, you guys only have one car?
Yes.
How did I not know that?
That's why he takes Cardale's Tesla.
Correct.
Well, we'll get into that later when Cardale joins us at 11:30. That'd be part of the conversation. Well, glad you're okay.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I mean, it was like wow, like this man really like hit the back of this man's car.
So you had to take an Uber from Columbus?
No. I took an Uber from my house to the car rental place.
Oh, okay.
Which is like right up the street. And
all right.
Bam.
All right. Fair enough. So a couple other things before we get to our first topic of the day. First of all, G. Bush is such a fashionista. For those who may not notice such things, not only does his hat match his Penguins jersey, but the jersey matches the watch. I mean, how many people are pulling that off?
I just hate the fact that you wear two watches.
This is an Apple Fit watch.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You're not allowed to wear two watches?
No.
Man, you
can't
do
that.
You see it,
He's got to get his information.
He ain't supposed to have nothing on the right hand.
Get his
He's not supposed
in.
to have a watch on his right hand unless he's left-handed.
And here another thing before they get to it. I always got to explain to you non-dressing people out here.
Oh, my God.
These non-dressers always be commenting.
Yeah, I'm a non-dresser. Go ahead.
G. Bush, he has that Pittsburgh stuff on first and foremost. The way that the game works, we've already told you. Black men wear any hats they want to.
Funny.
Like, first and foremost, we get that off. Second of all, I can wear.
Well, that's not completely true because if you're in. What if? Let me just give you a scenario.
Go ahead.
What if you're in a gang, right? Bloods and Crips thing. You can't wear the other color, right?
Come on.
He better not.
I mean,
okay, so you can't pull it off in every scenario. Not every guy.
But also, you should know this about black people as well. We don't play away games.
What does that mean? I don't know.
You're not going to catch me in California with nothing.
Oh, I see.
You can't. You know how I wear the Guardians hat? Like
you can't wear
cannot wear that.
You can't wear.
You can't wear a Guardians hat in California?
No, it means it's a part of a different set.
So
it's a different set.
There's a great link I'm going to send you, and it's all of the gang affiliations based on Major League Baseball caps.
Yeah,
really.
I told
every cap,
every hat, like that's red or blue.
So you can't. So there is not complete freedom of what to wear.
No!
I told
But in Cleveland, is there
I'm gonna just tell you right now.
Yeah.
You wear that Cleveland hat over in Cali. They go. Where you from? You better. I'm from Cleveland. I ain't from here, so I ain't know. I ain't know.
You got the Cardinals.
Yeah.
You got the Cardinals cap. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Ironically.
Yeah.
And
you see a lot of Raiders stuff. Well, that's not. I know that's not baseball.
Yeah,
they got that thing.
They got it for everything. But but people say, oh, he got the Pittsburgh. Listen, if Cleveland does not have
a hockey team,
that's fair deal.
That is fair game.
Second of all, if it's a throwback,
the Blue Jackets,
that's
right down
fair
the road.
deal. We don't count them.
I think you even get a pass. Maybe if you wanted for the Pirates because they're in a different league and they don't really have a rivalry with the Guardians. What do you think of that?
If I wanted to get a Willie Stargell off,
right. You got
Roberto Clemente. There's nothing you could do about that.
Dave Parker,
yeah. There's nothing you can do about that. That's just Jersey etiquette.
Can't wear Steelers though.
No.
Can't do that. That's over the line.
There would never be a time
I couldn't wear a Ryan Shazier jersey.
Nah, you can't.
That's my former teammate.
It got to be in your house.
That's my teammate.
It has
can't
to be
do
in your house.
I can't support.
No, you work for the team.
There's plenty of Buckeyes in the league.
That's crazy. I can't wear a Cam Hayward jersey.
No.
That's a lie.
You're in the radio.
That's a lie.
You're in the radio home of the Browns.
That's a lie.
You got to do it at home.
That's a lie.
Privacy of your home.
This is my.
Now you can wear a Cam Hayward Buckeyes shirt if you want.
Yeah, and if you could get the Pittsburgh one,
y'all gotta cut this out. First of all, if I put my money
you
down,
got him on that one. You got him on that one. Because if he can get the Pittsburgh one off, he definitely can go right to the locker room and get the throwback.
They're gonna say to me, like, if I decided to wear a Ryan or Cam Hayward jersey, what would they say?
I mean, you do work for the Browns radio network.
You can't get that off.
It's stuff that's deeper, that runs deeper.
I know, but they might be upset.
Did they die?
Browns are very sensitive about these things.
They are not.
Yeah, they are.
The only way you get that off is they pass away.
Yeah,
Ryan can't even play.
Well, you're gonna have to put it's the Hunger Games. You gotta put his picture in the sky.
The music, the horns play. By the way, I've been meaning to bring this up real quick. This has to do with football. Before we get to our first topic, I've been meaning to bring this up for literally months, and then I would never think about it during the show. Because I don't, for whatever reason, it seemed more pronounced to me this year than ever. But this has been going on a while.
This is serious.
This is the dumbest thing that football players do, and almost all of them do it. We've been talking for years about concussions, right? Mm-hmm. And protecting players.
Yep.
Why do I constantly see football players banging helmets with each other? Constantly.
You talking about like after a big play?
After a big play, certainly every time they make a field goal or an extra point, the kicker is banging heads with everybody on the line. How dumb is that? We're all talking about concussions. We're smashing heads together.
It's it's subtle.
Yeah.
It's a difference between that and like somebody running 20 miles an hour.
You know what, Tyvis, and you've talked about like a guy like Denzel Ward, who's had 82 concussions.
He better not be doing that.
He can't be doing that stuff. Something little like that.
Is he doing that?
I don't know. I don't remember him specifically.
Or when you make a play, you smack somebody's helmet.
Yeah, exactly. They do that all the time. It's so stupid.
Let's go, boy.
We got to get guys to stop doing that. That's crazy.
That's your campaign for the 25.
Seriously, though, I'm not joking.
No.
If you've had a lot of concussions, you could just get a smack in the head from your teammate, and you can get a concussion.
That's true.
Bernie Kosar won't even look at people.
Bernie's talked about that. Man, people tap on the shoulder and get
He say, "Don't touch my body."
You get caught in the moment, man. You get caught up in the moment.
I know, but like guys like bang.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bang asses if you want. I don't know. Do whatever you want.
That's the biggest pause ever. I gotta cut in.
That's the greatest pause ever. Yeah, kneecaps, bang elbows, bang forearms. I don't care. Just don't bang helmets.
Come on. Get the read in.
Guys, our first topic of the day is brought to us by Game Time. You guys know I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, comedy. Some of my favorite memories in 2024 were attending live events. The energy and excitement were unforgettable. And now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets to your favorite events with their brand new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game Time. Speaking of Game Time, by the way, apparently George Pickens for the Steelers-Ravens game showed up to the field 2 hours before the game.
What?
Like, players usually get there, like 4 or 5 hours before?
Something like that.
He apparently showed up 2 hours before. That's not good. You know Tomlin's not going to be happy about that.
No. But last night, guys, as we were getting ready to call it a night, Jordan Schultz sent out a tweet that sent not only NFL Twitter into a frenzy, but it had some ripple effects on the Browns Twitter sphere as well. Jordan Schultz tweeted, sources, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has spoken with Colorado head coach Deion Sanders about the team's head coaching vacancy, and discussions are expected to continue regarding the possibility of him becoming the next head coach in Dallas. Coach Prime is considered a top candidate, and if that were to happen, and understand this entire conversation we're about to have is based on a hypothetical if Deion were to go to Dallas, there's a good chance Shedeur Sanders would make his way to the Dallas Cowboys as well. Deion would find some way to ensure he's coaching his son. And if that were to be the case, Dak Prescott could be on the move. Bold, Dak Prescott is a quarterback you had circled in hypothetical worlds for the last 2 off seasons as a target for the Cleveland Browns, who would be an upgrade over their current situation. If Deion goes to Dallas and somehow brings Shedeur with him to Big D, would Dak Prescott be the right answer for the Browns at quarterback?
The amount of insane things about this question is startling. There's like 18 insane things about this question. Number one, and if I'm wrong, so be it. Does anybody see a world where Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders could coexist?
Yes.
I don't.
I think initially it would, because it would make it makes Dallas the complete talk of every. I mean,
but here's the thing,
they
G.
already are.
Jerry Jones is the face of the organization. It's not a player.
Right.
It's not a coach.
Right.
You do his things his way, or that's it.
I mean, I think, but don't you believe that they have a working relationship already?
I mean, I guess they do, and I know Deion played there, but Deion doesn't come in to take second fiddle to anybody.
I mean,
he wants to run the show his way, which I get. I'd want to do that if I were a coach.
Maybe when you get rid of Mike McCarthy, I mean, can they just go to some milquetoast coach? Is that what you're going? You're going to get? Who are you going to hire? Like
Ben Johnson.
Who?
Ben Johnson.
Why would he take the Cowboys?
Because you got Dak and CeeDee Lamb.
I know, but are you guys worried about Dak? I love Dak, but he had a bad year, and then he got hurt. He's 31.
You the same dude that sat there last season.
I love Dak.
We should trade for Dak Prescott.
Well, here's the thing now.
You did.
The Browns can't trade for Dak Prescott. I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
They really can't.
The Browns already, I know we talked with our guy.
Jack Duffin.
Oh, I forgot his name for a second. Jack, thank you. Jack Duffin. He talked about, and he kind of said what you and I have said a lot, is like, as long as you're willing to keep pay, then the cap doesn't matter that much.
This is $60 million cap here.
You can't have you can't have a cap hit of over $100 million for just two quarterbacks.
106.
So
I mean, it's not. You can't have that. Plus, if they trade him, there's a cap hit, this dead cap hit for Dallas of over $100 million. They can't trade Dak Prescott. That's crazy.
They even got a dead cap hit for trading him?
If they trade him, they would have a dead cap hit of over. I'm not sure the exact amount because there's conflicting
between 115
reports.
and $150 million.
Jerry got money.
He never. You know what's funny? He does not spend like that ever.
The way he did that little quarterback after his little bonus.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he never. You know how the Browns are constantly revamping contracts and moving money down the line. He never does that.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
In any world, would anything like this work out? I'm not saying I ever thought about it.
Yeah.
If they said, okay, well, give us the number 2 pick so we can take Shedeur.
Yeah.
We'll give you Dak Prescott. We'll also give you some compensation in another pick.
They have the 12th pick this year.
They'll swap to 12.
Yeah.
And then they had to take Deshaun Watson's contract.
Well, I don't think there's any way on earth Dallas would do that.
But I'm just saying.
Okay.
Could that?
In theory, yes, I would do that. Then,
I mean, because couldn't Deshaun Watson's contract kind of
offset that?
Contract.
I don't know. I still think both teams would get, at least for this year, get huge dead cap hits for both guys.
Yeah, I wish.
I don't know. I'll admit I'm a little gun shy of spending big money on another quarterback after what's happened with Watson.
Oh, huge.
And Dak, I love Dak. I've always liked him. I've always thought he was one of the most underrated, really the most underrated quarterback in the league. But just the fact that he hit 31 and he had a bad start and then got hurt makes me nervous.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. That 240, that keeps sitting up at the top. That 240,
but there's no guaranteed money after this year.
So there's no guarantee after this year.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay.
They front loaded all the guaranteed money.
It's just not realistic, Mike. They're not going to trade Dak. I know it's a fun thing to talk about in the media, but I just don't.
I agree. I don't think it's
they're not taking.
I don't think it's realistic.
Cap
the dead cap hits, and also Jerry Jones doesn't pay 2 coaches at once. Deion has an $8 million buyout from Colorado, so that would negate all the fast practices. In Jack Duffin's article, I thought he did a good job articulating the fact that just to mitigate the dead cap hit, they'd have to restructure CeeDee Lamb's contract, Micah Parsons' contract, and all these other deals, which, to what you said earlier, would go against everything Jerry Jones does. The Browns were the #1 spending team in terms of total cash spent this season. You know where the Cowboys ranked? 32nd.
Yeah.
So they'd have to do literally the complete
opposite. Which is
opposite.
Insane, considering he's one of the richest owners.
So I don't think this is realistic.
And by the way,
question.
first of all, I do think it's a little disrespectful to both Deion and Shedeur Sanders to think that Deion could only coach his son and that Shedeur can only play with his dad. I'm
not saying that.
No, I know. I'm not saying you are, but people are suggesting that. Number two, even if you are the Cowboys, and even if you wanted to, let's say you hired Deion and you traded up for Shedeur Sanders, why would you trade Dak? Is Shedeur Sanders if you're Deion? I don't want my kid playing as a rookie in the NFL.
Yeah. So that's the part we was gonna get back to because the first part was fun.
Yeah.
All right, so now Earl, if you're listening, clip it. We serious now. So now, if you look at it from a purely football standpoint, if they just want to trade up and get Shedeur, and it'll be a perfect guy to hang up with. It'll be a perfect guy, and it's the perfect scenario if they say, okay, let me get Shedeur. Like you said, there's no more guaranteed money there.
Yeah.
After this next year,
it would literally be like how Atlanta did Kirk Cousins.
Facts.
Right. It'd be pretty similar.
And here's what you can do: if Dak gets hurt, obviously Shedeur goes in the game. But if Dak is doing his thing and he's balling, Shedeur just sits there.
That's right.
Deion has always been about like, hey, look, I want him to do it the right way.
Yeah. Plus Shedeur probably needs to sit a year. We talk about Bernie all the time, like how quarterbacks need to sit a year. It would be perfect for him to sit. Because like I said, I played with Dak when I was with Dallas. Shout out to Dallas for helping me get my pension, by the way. I will never say anything negative
about. Oh, you got a pension?
The NFL? Yeah, you ain't know how that. So I played for Dallas in the preseason. Listen, I played for
that. Put you over the top.
So 2019, no, that's how it went. So 2019, we'll get back to the topic. So 2019, right? I'm playing for Dallas. Shout out to my boy K. Rich, Chris Richard. He was the DB coach there. Brought me in, signed me, and I played in the preseason for Dallas. It was unbelievable because I got to go to Hawaii. I went to Honolulu. We played the Rams in Hawaii. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And in the last preseason game, I was one of those guys that was kind of on the fence of whether you was going to make it or whether you wasn't. You know, I've done some things on special teams, but I still needed to make those plays defensively to stick around. And in that game, K. Rich was like, I'm telling you right now, you need to go play you some corner. I had been playing nickel a lot. It's like, I need you to play corner. So I was all right, bet. We'll play corner this game. So the funny thing is I was playing nickel at the beginning, and I ended up pulling my hamstring on kickoff. And I missed the tackle. I hit the dude, but I had no legs because my.
Did you not tell anybody?
No, so this is what happened. So I went out there and I kept playing.
Yeah.
And we got to the sideline and I'm like, I don't think I could run with somebody like man to man. But if you call zone, like I feel like I could do that. But like I'm telling you, my hamstring ain't right. So they looked at me and they said, "Oh well, you ain't going back in the game."
Right.
So at that point, it's like, well, it's done. Yeah. So. What does that have to do with me getting the pension? So you had to get 4 games in the NFL season to get the pension. And I had 3 years, but you need 3 games after the 3 years to get to 4. And I'm sitting there, so they cut me, but like I'm injured cut. So like in the NFL, if you get hurt, they can't release you until you're healthy again. So I'm sitting there and I'm rehabbing, and they hit my agent and said, hey, we want to give Tyvis an injury settlement. And I said, well, how many games? Because they got to give you game checks. How many games is the settlement? They said 4 games. And I said, let's clarify. So them 4 games, they count towards my pension, right? They said, yeah. Sign that right now. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm gone.
I did not know that.
So that's how if you weren't going to make the team, I don't know that. I
don't know what. Yeah.
Then you actually.
But it
helped you to get hurt.
The irony of it all. Of it all is that later that year I ended up going to Denver. I was on practice squad, and you're allowed to get 1 year of practice squad to count towards your pension. So I would have got it regardless.
You would have got it anyway. But all right.
Man,
let me ask this question real quick, and I've saw a bunch of.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Mike, because Tyvis was in the middle of making a sidebar.
Dak Prescott was a great leader because I walked into Dallas and I'm thinking this dude is overrated. Like I don't know why everybody talk about him like he this good quarterback. And I got to be around him. I got to sit down and talk with him. I got to see how he commanded an offense, how he ran team meetings. I'm like, you know what? This dude is a true leader. Like I do like that guy. So I say all that to say if he came to the Cleveland Browns, he'd be like Jameis. Without the antics, though. Like
he's way better than Jameis, too.
Well, but I'm saying, how Jameis could get people to believe and buy in. Like, Dak has that same ability as a player.
But he would, if you're Dallas, at the very least,
They're not trading.
They're not trading.
No, if at the very worst, if they wanted Shedeur, they would draft Shedeur. They would trade up, draft Shedeur, and sit him behind Dak.
Right.
Because, like I said, one, he needs to sit a year. Two, Dak is a great leader, so he'll learn how to play the game. Dak's played at a high level for the past couple of years until he got hurt. So you get to actually study and watch a guy prepare for the game. And Dak has been a great leader for Dallas. How he's been the perfect example of what you want your quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys to be.
That's right.
So you'll learn from that, and then they'll move on from him and just get the thing.
And even if Dak is pissed that they drafted Shedeur, it benefits him to go play for the Cowboys, play great. If they cut him or whatever after that, or he
get picked up like that.
He's get a huge contract.
Yeah, he get picked up like that.
Because if he bounces back next year, okay, he's still only 32 or 30, about to turn 33, whatever it is.
He'll be 33 for the 26 season. That brings him to the question I wanted to ask. Let's take Dak out of the equation.
Yeah.
For the sake of the hypothetical, Deion goes to Dallas.
Yeah.
They are extremely interested in trading up to number 2 to get Shedeur just for the sake of this, but they don't want to trade Dak. Bull, Tyvis, what would you need back from Dallas in that instance to move from 12 or to get Dallas from 12 to 2 if Dak's not involved? Is it 3 firsts?
I need their first this year, next year, and a second or third this year.
Yeah, I don't think you get 3 firsts, but you definitely got
first this year, next year, second or third this year.
I'm going to write a little note on a piece of paper, and it's going to say Kid Cudi. And they're going to say, what that mean? I need day and night. I need everything for that boy. I
know you, G.
See, the reason.
That was good. G, that was good.
You like that? I like that. What y'all think about that in the chat? I need that. I need that 12, because here's the thing. This is my trade concept. You go into this draft, and you got to have 4 names that you feel are blue chip people. And if you're going to trade, you got to say, I have to have one of these blue chip persons coming out of this thing, bar none. But at 12, you're not getting one of those.
Nope.
And now I'm going to skip, with all these holes, I'm going to skip over all of these blue chip dudes in the front of the D-line, offensive line, corners. No, I'm going to need to get you that one. I needed 2 this year too.
You know what? I'll tell you, in this unique circumstance, the Browns would have the Cowboys over a barrel.
Sure would.
Because
100%.
The Cowboys, they'd be desperate for Shedeur.
The funny thing is,
if that were the case.
And 12 to 2 is a giant jump.
It's huge.
We're not talking about moving down. That's 10 pick difference. That's a giant jump down.
Wow, that's not a giant jump. It's
the funniest part is, if they traded all that and Tennessee decided to take Shedeur.
Well, then you wouldn't make the trade until after the first pick.
Right. They would know.
That would make me laugh.
Right? That would be funny.
But they would really be, and to think about it, you could get it because, I mean, let's be honest with you. Dallas is in win now. And Dallas is kind of in that same mode that the Browns was in, right? Like, they're in a win now mode because they got Micah Parsons, because they got CeeDee Lamb, because they do have some younger pieces and parts that they've developed, and they got a Super Bowl window. But they're trying to extend that window because they got an older quarterback that they don't think is going to play after a couple of years. And now they could get another Shedeur Sanders where it's like he's on his rookie deal and it's way cheaper, and they get the guy that goes with the coach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could get everything.
In the end, I like I said yesterday, I'm getting more interested in Shedeur Sanders. The Browns drafted. I know, if Deion's coaching in the NFL, I get it. Most people are going to think he's going to go with Deion, and maybe that's the case. We'll see. But
you want the Browns to take Shedeur too? Is that what you said?
I'm leaning in that direction. Because I'm assuming Cam Ward's going 1, but I don't know that.
I've been, and Bull. It's kind of like, let's hash it out and parse why. Because I'm like you. I feel like I'm slowly but surely kind of moving in that direction. I just believe that, like, a lot of the reasons why we don't want a quarterback has to do with just because a bunch of people are trying to tell us that.
Hey, he got a 74.2% pass completion rate.
And for a lot of the people, Tyvis, a lot of the people, if you say, why don't you want Shedeur Sanders? They'll say, well, this ain't a good draft class. But you say specifically him. Why don't you want him specifically? They'll say, well,
I just say he got to get coached out of some things. That's all. And it all depends on how quick he's willing to accept that coaching, which I think all of them. Cam Ward is the same way.
Yeah. I think all of them. I think all of them need some coaching. I think the thing that does scare people about Shedeur's game is because it reminds us of Deshaun Watson.
So does Cam.
And Cam reminds me of a bunch, because he'll hold on to the ball. And he's very nonchalant in his game. So it's kind of like when you watch him play, you're like, we saw this not work here.
But doesn't Shedeur play like on time more than Cam Ward does?
Yes.
So I just feel like, and
Shedeur also didn't have a line.
Terrible. One of the worst in the country. So I don't know, man. He's growing on me, and I don't care about this. Oh, there's going to be drama with the, I don't care about that. Yeah. I want a good quarterback. I don't know for sure. I'm not a scout. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to be a good quarterback or not, but it depends what Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry think, I guess. All right.
I guess it comes down to that.
Speaking of good quarterback play, we're going to bring in a quarterback here in 1 sec to help us break down the national championship after a quick word from Rocket Money. Has Rocket Money ever helped you find a subscription you forgot you were paying for, or maybe be paying for twice? It's happened to me. I had a few subscriptions I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It was like having a personal assistant for my finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spendings, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place. Whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year, Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That is rocketmoney.com/lockedon or rocketmoney.com/lockedon.
And Mike, I just heard a huge rumor, and it involves Cardale Jones. Is he ready to go?
He is ready.
Cardale, thanks for joining us. There he is. Cardale, I am just getting this rumor 6 days before the Buckeyes play their national championship game. There are rumors swirling all over Northeast Ohio that you purposely lent Tyvis your car and you knew it had a bad tire, so he would have to pay for the tire. Is that true, Cardale?
Listen, man, first and foremost, guys, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure having an opportunity to jump on with you guys. But as you guys know, you guys are getting to have an opportunity to learn and really grow with Tyvis. You can't believe nothing he says. That's outside of sports. Now the guy knows sports, and not just football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, women's hockey. The guy knows that. But outside of that, guys, just take it with a grain of salt, man. This guy is
I can't believe you sitting there saying that. Like you worse than me.
Listen, Tyvis calls me. I'm on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
And he says, Cardale, we got a problem. And what's up? And he say, I got a flat sitting there charging your car. I said, well, first and foremost, we ain't got no problem. You got a problem. but I didn't want him to be late for work and everything he had to do. Thank God I got clearly family and friends, other friends in Cleveland that I said, Tyvis, just leave a car there, leave a key in the car, go to work. I said, we'll handle it. So
Tyvis is salty right now.
The sick thing is the Tesla still is out of commission right now. That's the worst.
Still?
My tires hasn't came in yet. I don't know what's going on, man. They taking forever to get in.
All right, Cardale, when you look in this game, what's the biggest storyline in this Notre Dame and Ohio State game? What's the thing that you follow and what sticks out the most to you?
I think one thing that sticks out the most on both sides of the ball is the way that both teams play defense with their front seven. Notre Dame has been a really good defense all year. They haven't had the chance to play an explosive offense like Ohio State yet, but we saw what they did to Penn State. We saw how they control Katron Allen and those guys in Singleton. To a certain extent, I know Singleton went for, I think, over 100 yards, but they limited the big plays as much as they can. Notre Dame is just a team that continued to chip away. And I've been saying it all year that they have been one of the most improved teams each and every week. You saw them get better at something. At one point in time in the season, Notre Dame didn't have a passing touchdown. And I was convinced that they were a glorified Navy or Army because they couldn't push the ball vertically down the field. And then as you see the season progress, these guys just got Wright Leonard just got a lot better, and these receivers just started to kind of come on and come into their own, sort of say. And then on the flip side, Ohio State, this defense is ridiculous. I think it's one of the best defenses that we've seen in recent years for these guys, and that's led by a lot of veteran leadership. So you would expect that. But the numbers they're putting up on the defense side of the ball is some of the best in the country, if not the best. And both these teams love to really push it a little bit with their offense, but really, to my opinion, like to rely on their defense to kind of limit you possessions and limit those explosive plays.
You know, Cardale, I was looking at it, and then I went back and watched. I was looking at Will Howard. And one of the plays that stood out to me was, you know, they needed to get a first down. And me and my dad was sitting there, and I'm like, oh, listen, it'd be a great time to pull out the quarterback run right here. They ran it. He got the ball. That was a really major part of Chip Kelly's evolution. And Will Howard ran the ball a lot in Kansas State. Do you think that they'll incorporate that a little bit more in this game? It seems like they've gone more to the just straight pass, drop back pass, where they play action, do some things like that, get the ball to Jeremiah Smith. Do you think the quarterback run will be a part of this game a little bit more with Will Howard being such a big physical guy?
That's hard to say because Notre Dame does a great job and has some great athletes on the other side of the ball. But I think the quarterback run and is more valuable to me when he drop back, look for a receiver, and the defense feel like they got everybody covered and they forget about the quarterback and he takes off for a scramble. But in his situation, incorporating some of those things, and I know exact play you're talking about when the Turf Monster got him for a touchdown.
Right.
And I saw that it was man coverage, and I'm like, QB power, QB power, QB power. So I'm putting on my coaching hat as well in certain situations, and little do you know, QB power guards come pulling around, kick and pull, and it was a huge play, could have been a touchdown. So sometimes we forget about his running ability, and that's how actually I was introduced to Will Howard last year, watching Kansas State versus Texas, watching him go for, I think, close to 90 rushing yards on some design quarterback runs. But I'm happy for Will. I'm happy for this offense. He's had an opportunity to drop back and push the ball down the field. I think more this year than any other time in his career at Kansas State.
Cardale, G mentioned throwing it to Jeremiah Smith. He only had one catch last week for 3 yards. Texas did a great job as a group defending him. Obviously, the Buckeyes still win, but Texas played better against them defensively, certainly than Oregon and Tennessee did. Is there something, do you think Notre Dame will try to do the same thing that Texas did?
Notre Dame has two great defenders on the outside as well. I would imagine, because this guy can affect you in many different ways. We saw Jeremiah Smith get involved in the run game throughout the year as well, on reverses and tunnel screens and things like that, outside of just pushing the ball down the field to him. But, but you look at, he was limited versus Texas, but he still caused and drew a lot of eyes on him every play, which opened up things for other guys like Emeka and Carnell Tate, who both went for over 6 receptions, almost 100 yards. And I think G. Scott, the tight end, had his most receptions in a game as well. So he can affect the game without even having the ball in his hands. And, the tough part about any team facing Ohio State, it's hard to try to lock in and try to lock down one guy when they have so many unbelievable playmakers from the skill position.
Cardale, is it true that you suggested that JJ pull a Jamar Chase and sit out his junior year?
I wouldn't say I suggested it, but if that was my kid, that's what he would be doing. I think he is more than good enough to play 2 years and sit out that third year. At this point of his career, I think Ohio State is clearly the favorite and to win unbiasedly, to win a national championship. So he had that under his belt. Let's say next year he goes out and they beat the team up north. They, win a Big Ten championship game. He is going to be the front runner for the Biletnikoff, and they win another national title. What else could he do in his third year? As in everything I just mentioned is realistic for this guy and his team to attain here following this 2025-24 season, going into 2025. So at that point, it's like, what else does he have to prove? We already know he is one of the best players in the country. And looking at some of the draft analysts and listening to these guys, if he was able to leave right now as an 18, 19-year-old kid, he would most likely be a top 2 pick. Not a number 1 receiver, clearly, but he'd be a top 2 pick.
You know, it's funny that you say all that, and I agree with a lot of what you say. Why did you decide to come back after your 3 games? Because you should have took your own advice. You should have. You know, but I appreciate you because I needed your half of the rent. But some people said that you could have been the third. You could have been Jameis, Marcus, and you.
But, okay, so 3 games versus putting together 2 full seasons of dominant performance and having a larger sample size and having more experience on your belt is completely separate from catching lightning in a bottle and, being pushed in the right place at the right time. This guy is proven. I mean, I remember the first 4 or 5 games of the season when Ohio State playing against quote-unquote lesser opponents, and I'm just like, everybody, he ready for NFL now? And I'm just like, I don't know. I want to see it a little longer, and he continued to do it, and I'm just like, he may be ready, So I still don't think he's ready after this year because at the end of the day, you're playing against grown men and the best of the best in the world when you talk about the national football level. But another year under his belt, unfortunately, he got to have another 2 years under his belt. He's going to be one that not just ready for the NFL, but I continue to say this, he's going to go down as one of the best college football players ever.
If you look at, I guess the only thing that people from the outside looking in perspective will say was like, I mean, I don't know what Jeremiah getting the NIL, but I mean, if he come back, if he's that accomplished after his freshman and sophomore year, his junior year, that bag got to be crazy. Like he might make $4 or $5 million just playing his junior year. Now, here's the thing: if you was making that type of money on the NIL game back then, you might have been like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay here as well." Like, he did. Like that's
pull Carson back. Yeah. I pull Carson back. I pulled a Carson Beck, and this is no knock on Carson Beck, but stories that first came out that he declared for the NFL draft. I would imagine he didn't like his draft grade, and he said, "Well, why would I have let's just say hypothetically, I have no clue about the situation, but I would imagine for him to say no, I'm gonna go back to school. His draft grade couldn't have been in the first 3 rounds. I would imagine, right? Especially coming off an injury that is going to limit him. His quote-unquote potential rookie year would have been 2025. Why do that when I can go back to school and make $4 or $5 million in 1 year? One thing people don't understand about NFL rookie contracts, you don't get the money in your contract base as far as salary parts. Year to year, it's the big dollar amount comes from the signing bonus. Yeah. So he is going to make next year, this upcoming college football season in Miami, more than a lot of NFL first-round draft pick quarterbacks the last couple of years. And by far as salary base, not signing bonus, but as far as his actual salary to be on that roster, he would make more than a lot of guys.
By the way, Jeremiah Smith is so good that if he does what Cardale says he's going to do or thinks he might, which is, I think we all agree, is very likely, he could probably sit out his junior year and still get paid for endorsements or whatever, even without playing.
For sure.
They'll pay him, right?
That's kind of wild.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. I definitely think so because I think he'd be a hot commodity. I think he'd be a guy that Nike and Adidas and Under Armour would be licking their chops to get their hands on and outside of other opportunities. And, Jeremiah Smith, I can only imagine what he has been able to capitalize on in NIL outside of his initial NIL coming out of high school, far as the way he has built his brand, the way he carried himself, and clearly the way he dominated on the field.
Jeremiah, I was talking to my dad the other day. We're sitting there at the table, and I said, you know what? People talking about it being the wild, wild west, right? And I hate that word. I hate when people just keep saying it. It's so stupid. Like, somebody else getting money is confusing to you. I don't understand it. Like, this is so bewildering. Like, so when you talk about the NIL, you talk about the packages that these guys are getting. One of the unintended consequences that happened that I thought was good, I said, Dad, when is the last time you heard kids getting in trouble? Like, remember before it was like, oh, somebody stole a laptop. Oh, guys are running around signing stuff for tattoos. You just don't see that no more. It's
you don't need to.
It's funny what happens when you give somebody the opportunity to partake in capitalism in America.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, and I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm going to use the word that you hate because it is the Wild Wild West. And the simple fact is not a lot of the regulations need to be tightened up a little bit more for the simple fact of it's a lot of people out there looking to sink their teeth in these kids and these companies and these kids getting involved in not so great deals, but all they're seeing is the dollar sign. So it's the Wild Wild West on that side of things, and having so many outside influences influence a kid's decision to go to one university or another, or to jump in the transfer portal or tampering. So it's the Wild Wild West in that aspect. But I'm all for guys being able to capitalize on the brand that they're building, on and off the field. You don't have those typical situations no more because guys can get paid to sign memorabilia and things like that. But with money comes great responsibilities. And we do see around the country in the NIL space that you are seeing these kids having different issues they're dealing with. If it's, financial advising issues, if it's tax issues, or if it's issues of, a big thing right now across the country, they got all this money, they can afford these nice fast cars and these speeding tickets and these car accidents and things like that. And I'm not talking about a house, I'm just talking about overall the NIL aspect, and that's contributing to they have an opportunity to make this.
Did you hang up on Cardale?
No, he got a text. He's back.
Oh, okay.
I'm back. I'm sorry. Yeah, I ignored it. I had a phone call coming in.
I do not owe him no Tesla.
Yeah, real quick, Cardale. I'm curious. As the only show, we are the only show in Cleveland that has a member of the show who's on each of the only championship teams this century in Ohio State. In fact, is there a show in Columbus that has? Obviously you were on the last national championship team. Dustin was on the previous national championship team.
Show?
Is there any show that has both? Both represented regularly with
the
guys?
Only person I know is Bobby. Bobby does radio.
Was Bobby on the O2 team?
Right, but he doesn't have anybody on that show that was on your team.
Bobby Carpenter, he like 05.
Bobby wasn't there in 02? I thought he was young.
Yeah, no. So we're the only show that has both. And so obviously this current team has a chance to become the third Buckeye team this century. How do we compare the potentially now 3 championship teams to each other?
Like who's better?
Who's better? Yeah. All right, go ahead. Who's better?
I wouldn't say who's better.
I said.
Who's the best?
Let's have them pull off what they have to do in 6 days, and then we can compare them to other national championship teams. But I've been on record already saying, on paper, this is one of the best teams on paper, not just in Ohio State history, but in all of college football.
I mean, they're loaded with talent.
They are. I'm jealous of their goal line defense. You get to the 1 yard line, them boys.
So Cardale, you're picking a big win for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, are they winning big?
Make that official.
Oh, for sure. I just and this is, and it's going to sound biased clearly, but I don't understand how Notre Dame can keep it close. I'm not worried about. I think Notre Dame has a great defense, but our defense is able to score, and I don't see their offense being as effective as they've been versus other teams versus our defense.
Yeah, Riley Leonard gonna have to have the game of his life. He might have to they better be praying. Literally, that ain't gonna work. Yeah.
Cardale, before you go, how was Tyvis as a roommate? Was he a good roommate?
That's a great roommate.
That's
one thing I can attest
for. I'm just asking him.
He was a great roommate, man. I remember we was roommates in the dorms before we moved off campus together, and we had 2 other teammates that was roommates, and we made sure secretly, when we move off, we ain't taking them with us. We're looking for a 2-bedroom, to say the least.
Y'all was in them towers?
No, we wasn't
in the towers. We was in the Neil. Yeah, we was in the Neil and Worthington first. But when me and Tyvis found the place, and a great place off campus, it was fairly new at the time. And, one room was a little bit bigger than another. So I said, how we saw this, we could go play one-on-one basketball for it.
I won the first game. I won the first game.
Well, you lost.
So this what happened.
We had a series, best of 3. Yeah. I destroyed them.
He was good. He didn't miss.
Was anybody calling fouls, or was it a no blood, no foul situation?
No, we don't do that. Yeah, no
foul.
Yeah, I know we ain't trying to hurt each other, but if it's a good foul, you wrap them up. It's a foul.
Tyvis was on the couch.
Yeah, that was it.
wasn't on the couch. I was in a little hut, though.
That's right.
It went down in there. It was still the dungeon. Anyways, thanks, Cardale. If y'all want to see Cardale, he will be at Great Northern Mall on Saturday from 12 to 2. It's an autograph signing. Him, myself, Braxton to be there 12 to 2. The 2002 team will be there 2 to 4. They got Craig Krenzel, Matt Wilhelm, Dustin to be there, C. Grant, Bobby Carpenter. So if you want to get an autograph from, or just come hang out and come say what's up, we'll be at Great Northern Mall this Saturday, 12 to 2 or 2 to 4.
And where are you going to be?
This is at Primetime Sports and Framing.
Primetime Sports and Framing. All right, that's a great.
It'll be a good time.
Going to be out there.
Hey man, and I'm crashing the party. I'm gonna be by the Foot Locker buying shoes. and if you want these OU Bobcats 1 in 10 season autographs from G. Bush, pull up.
Thanks, Cardale. We appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me. Have a good one.
You too.
That was Cardale Jones, national championship winning quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes, picking the Buckeyes.
What a run he had, man. That was an unbelievable time.
It was.
He was so good in those 3 games.
He was okay.
Come on.
He was okay. I think a lot of people poured gas on it. He was just all right. The defense played phenomenal.
He was very humble in talking about that. He basically downplayed it.
He's a humble guy.
Under the radar, kind of downplayed his performance there.
He's a humble guy.
He should have, listen, you got to move when you hot.
I remember at the time, we were like, Brown should draft him. Let's go.
You got to move when you hot. Bro, I remember he came on a couple of years. I think he came on in the beginning of a couple of years. He said, I should have made the move.
Hey, listen, he's doing well for himself now, right?
Yeah.
What is Braxton Miller up to these days?
Braxton Miller.
He
started a new restaurant.
He got a new restaurant, burger called Sexton's Burger Joint down in Columbus.
Okay.
He's got his own school.
He's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, he got a school, like a sporting school where he takes kids through camps and helps them get better. He's doing a lot in Columbus,
his kid's
man.
a future stud.
Yeah.
He's got a kid that's old enough?
His son.
He's got to be 13,
I'm about to say
14.
His son got to be a teenager by now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know what. Oh, okay.
Hey, Braxton Miller got some of the craziest highlights.
And what's that?
Landon is his name.
Is he a quarterback or?
I don't know if he's playing quarterback. He should.
Yeah. In the videos Braxton's posted of his son, he's playing running back receiver. He's got the ball in his hands running around.
Cool.
So I don't know where he starts. But
all right, well, good luck.
If you want some more Shedeur talk,
Earl
and Cecil did a great breakdown of Shedeur Sanders, how he fits in the NFL. Cecil, who played quarterback before he played receiver, gave a nice breakdown on what Shedeur's strengths and weaknesses are. So that episode came up this morning. It's already on the YouTube page. Make sure you check it out.
Earl is kind of blowing up a little bit because Josh Cribbs kind of called him out on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that.
I
seen Earl's response upstairs in the office.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little beef going on.
I like that.
No, it's still beef. It's a sign of respect.
It's not beef
at all.
The fact that Josh Cribbs brought him up on the show, that's good. That's good.
Battle
for
of
Earl.
Dreads.
Yeah.
2 best dreads in the city.
Hey, who got the best locks?
No, come on. We're going with Earl on that one.
Yeah, you're right.
Earl wins every time.
Yeah. Josh is a little, you know what I'm saying? He got the OG joints. No disrespect, OG. You got the Snoop Lions.
Let's talk Cavs, guys. Tonight, it's a TNT nationally televised contest against the Indiana Pacers, who just beat them on Sunday. It was the Cavs' worst shooting performance of the season against the Pacers on Sunday. So, guys, what do you anticipate any kind of changes or adjustments the Cavs need to make to get back tonight in Indiana?
Go ahead.
It was just I think that this was just a reset. We like the streak to go on, but at some point, you knew the Cavs would have a bad shooting night at some point. I mean, that's just what it is. I think that they get back into their groove tonight, get back in that win column. A lot of guys will step up and make their shot. I think Donovan has a game. It's been 2 games.
He's in a bit of a slump.
Yeah, what game? The Thunder game, he was off. He took the Raptor game off, and then this Pacer game, he wasn't the same. So I think that Donovan gets back to Donovan tonight. I think he gets hot from the three-point line and get his little heat check on, hit about 4 or 5 trays. I think Evan Mobley really asserts himself on the inside. I think Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam did a pretty good job in that paint last game. So I think those bigs assert themselves in this game. And I think Max Strus comes off the bench and hit 3 threes. Put it on a parlay and give me $20 when it hit.
Okay. And calling it out. And, you know, McDuckets, I always go back and, you know, when I was looking at this topic or whatever, I remember going back and talking about playing basketball in high school, and I just always remember our coach telling us, defense, like, you rest on offense. Offense is supposed to be where you rest. You on defense is where you really got to work. And when shots ain't falling, you got to rely on getting stops. You got to rely on defense. And the more you have, the more defense that you're able to display, the more energy that you get. And even when you're not making shots, you tend to like be a little bit of, you know, you don't have that same snap, that same focus, that same energy when you're not hitting shots. But when that's happening, you gotta actually have to be ratchet the defensive pressure up, and you gotta say, okay, if we're not hitting shots, we're gonna hang our hat on the defensive end of the table. So I think I want to see that, and Kenny has talked about it a little bit. I want to see that activity on defense a little more. I don't want to see. You know, I think the Pacers did a really good job of getting in the paint. They got to their spots. There's some loose balls that they got, and those 50-50 balls are pretty much those are the things that kill you, especially when you're not knocking the outside shots down. And then it seems that when they get those 50-50 balls, now they get second chance opportunities, and then now those shots are going in. And it's demoralizing, it's deflating, it kills you. So I want to see the defensive pressure. And I want to also see this a little bit. I want to, and I know that this isn't necessarily hero ball, but I want to see them, if they have a matchup that they can get to exploit, I want to see them keep going back to it. If it's Mobley and they can't guard him, boom. I thought Darius Garland had it going a little more in that game, other than Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. So I wanted to see Darius had the ball a little bit more and kind of maneuver and kind of facilitate and do those things. So it's just it's a learning lesson, and I actually like the loss. I like the loss because it's a great opportunity to reset, bring everybody in, and give them a nice little, you ain't that good yet.
Yeah, right.
Right?
You haven't proven anything yet. And to your point, you know, you talk about defense. Kenny Atkinson, we played the clip yesterday, I guess. Yeah, it had to be yesterday, where he talked about how, in particular, their third quarter defense, and Mike put up the stats a little bit ago, Steve, about how that's been really their one issue all season. Their third quarter defense has been bad. Look at those numbers. I mean, they're top 9 in the first, second, and fourth quarter. That's great. The third quarter, all season, their defense has been terrible. And Kenny Atkinson, we played the clip yesterday, and he's like, you know, I know this is a problem. He admitted, hey, it's something we've talked about, we got to deal with. But I don't really have the answer as to what's going on. So I think, as you said, coming off that loss and maybe the worst game they played all year against Indiana, it is probably an opportunity for him to say, hey, guys, we're playing great, love the team, love you all. We got to pick it up in the third quarter here. Yeah. Because even in games when we're playing great offensively, you mentioned this yesterday, G, if we're playing like crap defensively in the third quarter, even if we're scoring, we're letting teams back into it.
Yep.
So we're wasting, even though we've been good with the minutes, we could be getting even more rest for our stars in the fourth quarter if we played better defense in the third quarter, and then the game's over.
Didn't they have a lead? What was the lead at halftime?
They were up 13.
They were up 13 against Indiana, correct.
And then they just, now they played terrible defense in this game, but also they were terrible offensively the entire second half.
Couldn't buy a shot.
Really, outside of the second quarter, they couldn't make a basket. They were fine in the second quarter, but the rest of the game,
uncharacteristically bad shooting.
Yeah, first game under 100 points all season for the Cavs. Only the second game under 105. It was bizarre to see. It was a little deflating. I feel like a little deflated by the team in the moment, which is crazy. Let me make it clear. I'm not saying there's any systemic issue, but when they're playing at such a high level for so many games, it is, even one game, it's deflating to see them play that poorly. And now you got to get up. I like that it's a TNT game. I like that we'll hear, Barkley and these guys crapping on all the teams because that's what they do.
And it shows them is that the Tyvis, the level is going to be here, and I like it because when you're a championship team, that bar is always here.
Yeah,
like that bar is right in front of you, and you just lost this game. Now the true test of a championship caliber team for me is how you bounce back in the very next game, and do you not have these sustained? See, mediocre teams, they'll lose 3 in a row. They'll lose 3 out of 5. Good teams will say, okay, we lost that game. Let's go on another 8-game winning streak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you want the immediate results? The Cavs 4 losses this season that we have the result. We'll obviously find out tonight's 5th.
Right. They're 3-1.
So they, after losing to Boston for their first loss of the season, they came back and beat New Orleans at home by 28 points. It was an absolute demolition. Ty Jerome went crazy that game. Then they lost to Atlanta.
And they lost to Atlanta
again. Followed that up by losing to Atlanta again.
Yeah.
And then they followed up the second Atlanta loss by beating Boston at home in that really highly contested game where Donovan went off in the fourth quarter. And then after they lost to Miami on Sunday, December 8th.
They hadn't lost again.
They followed up by beating Washington. It wasn't a great game. They won 115-105. They didn't shoot great in that contest, but it was a pretty convincing win. So for the most part, they have responded well.
I like this week because, first of all, both games are on national TV, which I like. Plus, first, you're playing Indiana, a team that just beat you, and a team that's pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good. So the Cavs should be motivated. And then you're playing Oklahoma City again. And you know Oklahoma City was like, well, we lost at their place. We got to win at our place.
That place going to be crazy.
Yeah, so.
And OKC's been on a roll since that. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but they destroyed the Knicks in New York after losing to the Cavs.
Well, think about it. Is that the only game they played since then?
No, they won again. Let me confirm, but I believe they won again last night.
You can't be on a roll if it's one game.
They beat the Wizards by 40, and they beat the Knicks by 25.
All right. So 3 of their so Oklahoma City beat the Celtics, beat the Knicks, lost to the Cavs, beat the Knicks, and then beat a terrible team. So in the 3 other games they played against the best teams in the East, they've won the other 3. So we know how good Oklahoma City is. We know that Indiana's pretty good, and they really handled the Cavs. So these are 2 games. Toss in the national TV angle of it that I'm excited to watch, and I got to get my flate back. That's not really a word, but I'm creating it like Mike likes to create words.
Yeah, no, it works.
We're deflated. I want to get flated. I guess I should say inflated.
That is.
But that does sound sexual. Getting flated.
That sounds
you need you some blue shoes.
But real quick, after the Oklahoma City game on Thursday, at Minnesota, who's tough, back home again on Martin Luther King Day to take on Phoenix at home, and then they play Houston twice in the next 5 days. In Houston, if anyone hasn't been paying attention, Houston's a very good team in the most updated NBA.com power rankings.
Yeah.
In the most updated NBA.com power rankings that came out this morning, Cavs 1, OKC 2, Houston 4. So these are 3 games against top 5 teams.
That game last night against Memphis for them, that was a good game. That boy Jalen Green finished that game. Nice job. Morant smoked 2 free throws at the end. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, it was a good game.
Aren't they? Somebody said they're like the. I haven't really watched them play, but they play with a little bit of an edge, huh?
Yeah, they've got more fights and they have more technicals.
A little chippy.
Is Anthony Edwards still playing Charmin basketball?
He's not having his greatest season right now. But for tonight's game, one thing I want to keep an eye on specifically in relation to the Pacers. In the second half, when Halliburton went out and he's not anticipated to play tonight, they started pressing. And I don't think that is – and the press did a wonderful job throwing the Cavs off their rhythm.
Yeah.
You don't really press in the NBA because of the caliber of ball handlers that Donovan and Derek – it's more just to kind of throw guys off. And the Cavs didn't seem to run any type of press break just to negate whatever it was doing. I would anticipate if Indiana tries to press again, the Cavs will be much more equipped to handle it. Chris Fedor did just tweet that Ty Jerome was not at shoot-around this morning. He's still dealing with the flu, so if he's out, that's a ball handler that you take out of the equation for the Cavs.
But it is weird that they didn't adjust to that. It was like the first time all year it felt like Kenny Atkinson didn't
So I'm expecting that adjustment, even though it didn't happen in the second half. It happens tonight. I don't think the press
and it is funny that the Pacers, I know they did it with that because Halliburton was out, but he's their best player.
Offensive player.
Well, yeah, but like, and you know, it's funny that the Pacers were able to come back without their best offensive player.
Their best offensive player? Certainly not their best defensive player.
I'm more of a Pascal Siakam type of guy. He's consistent.
They held the Cavs to 40 points in the second half, though. So offensive, it was more their defense that did the Cavs dirty.
Let me ask you this, McNuggets, because maybe the numbers don't back it up, but as I was watching some of the pregame stuff with the Oklahoma City Thunder, they talked about Kenny at practice, and he talked about them getting the ball and moving it up the court, and being very conscious of always getting that outlet pass and moving it and advancing it and getting into positions to get points. I just felt like in that game they played a little slower. Maybe I don't know if the numbers back it up, but they just didn't seem to have very many fast break points. But again, if you're not scoring the basketball, you're not scoring.
Yeah.
You're not going to have any of those type plays. But I felt they played a little slower against Indiana.
Yeah, well, the press definitely got them out of their rhythm, and part of the reason the Cavs' pace is slightly up this year, their offensive efficiency is up. When you get the ball across half court quickly, you have time to run an offensive set. If it's not there, reset and run it again, or run something different.
Yeah.
If you take 6-7 seconds to get
right,
it up,
you don't get that second try.
You run it through, and if it's not there, then you have to go ISO basketball with 5 seconds left. So that's more of what the press was trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, G. I can try and find if their pace was particularly slow. I think it was more when you miss a ton of shots.
Yeah.
You try to play more intentional to get good shots. And they didn't rebound great against Indiana on Sunday. And when you don't rebound, it's harder to get out in transition.
Yeah, listen, it was a crap game.
It was a bad game. Yeah, just a bad game.
But there was one little development that I was fascinated to see. They had this little wrinkle, and I don't know if you caught it, but they had Evan Mobley getting the ball, bringing it down, initiating offense.
They want him to do that.
Kenny
is encouraging Evan to do that, for the record.
And he came down. They gave him a little, and he threw a nice little bounce pass to the key. I don't know who cut. It was Strus or somebody who cut back door. And I said, "This is and this is during why they're pressing. So you got Evan Mobley initiating offense at the top of the key, running point.
Yeah, it's a nice wrinkle. That's the one that we've been wanting because last year, after last year's season, everybody was like, he needs to be more like a Bam Adebayo where he brings the ball up and facilitates. I think that, to me, is what makes the Cavs different is that both bigs have the ability not to bring the ball up, but has playmaking ability to have court vision and be able to throw dimes and things like that. That's why the two bigs is working because those guys – can see the court at a high level.
And especially with getting it to each other. They're really good at getting the ball. By the way, Mike, Aaron asked me this question the other day, and I actually didn't know the answer to this, and I wonder if you do. I've never seen this happen. If you are beyond the three-point line.
Yes, it counts.
And you dunk, it's a 3.
It's a 3.
If you dunk?
Yeah, it's a 3.
Or if you take
That's not what I was going to ask, but how could you dunk from beyond
if you take off from the three-point line.
Nobody could do that.
If you take off from the three-point line and do a layup and you release the ball.
It's a 3.
It's a 3.
But how? Nobody could do that. How could you do that? Nobody could jump that far.
Giannis could.
No chance.
Not dunk, but he could get
close to a
layup.
No, but that's not what I was going to ask. But that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. If you're behind the three-point line and you bounce the ball, and it goes into the basket. Is that a 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No, but I'm pretty sure.
I said that's what I said to Aaron. I said I think so, and then I was like,
yes.
I'm not 100% sure. I've never seen that before.
Here's the closest example I could think of. I forget the player, and I'm sure we could find it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you remember the ball was going out of bounds, and this is I think a college game, but it blew up on social media because it's a crazy play. Ball was going out of bounds. A guy went to try and save it right in front of the bench.
Yeah.
Threw it behind his head, hit a defender in the head, bounced up and went in.
Okay, but that's not the floor.
But I'm saying it hit something, but he threw it from beyond the three-point line.
Right, and it was a 3.
And it was a 3.
But I wonder if the floor changes that as opposed to a player. I don't know. I don't think it's ever happened. If it has, I don't remember. It was just such a random thing, and I'm like, that's a fascinating question. I'm not sure.
If someone took let's talk it out. Someone takes a half-court heave. It's short, or a full-court heave at the end of and it's short, but bounces and goes in. Yeah, it's a 3. That would count as 3. Yeah, it would count as 3.
But how do you know it's never happened?
Because I know basketball.
Yeah, but
I think you're right. I don't know for 100% certain.
That's what I don't mean to press you on it because I
ask
think it's
him the question and then get mad at him.
I'm not getting mad.
His
I'm
educated guess.
It's just an educated guess.
This is civil discussion.
It probably is a 3.
Do you want me to send a text? You want to try to figure this out right now?
No, it's not necessary. Well, you're going to text me your NBA guys?
No, I was going to text the Cavs PR staff and ask them.
Yeah, text them. I don't know. They're probably watching. They watch.
They do. They do.
So,
also, shout out to the Cavs. Later this week, we're going to have a little set redecoration, and it's going to be thanks to the Cavs. So
yeah, they're sending us some stuff, which we're excited about.
To get hang up here.
Yeah.
Let's get some predictions for the game, and we'll move on. We're going to talk some more Cavs at the end of the show, but
I'm guessing Steve Becker has looked it up.
According to AI, yes, if a bounce pass goes directly into the basket without hitting anything else, it counts as a made basket. The fact that it bounced on the floor before going in does not negate the score.
But
as long as the ball enters the basket.
No, but Steve says...
if the ball bounces inside the arc, it'd be a 2-point field goal.
See, there you go. So it's a 2. It's not a 3.
But the ball is where the ball bounces. Obviously, you have to shoot.
Well, but I was saying my assumption was that it bounces inside. Because most 3-point shots are right at the 3-point line. So most likely it would bounce inside the 3-point line.
It had to be outside the 3-point
line. All right,
line.
so you thought.
I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I guess I'm wrong.
So if it bounces, if you throw a bounce, the only way it can happen, you give a bounce pass and you just throw it really hard and it goes in.
I'm going to text the Cavs to get some clarity.
Yeah, let's get clarification because I don't, who knows? Because you can find stuff all the time online that's wrong. Remember there was that thing in the Bengals-Browns game where somebody was saying Joe Burrow was down on that play.
When he wasn't actually down.
When he wasn't down, so...
I don't know. It does.
The internet gets it wrong all the time.
That is kind of because it says the shooter must be at least 1 foot behind the 3-point line when releasing the ball. Excessive for three-pointer is when the shot must be taken from outside the 3-point line. So technically, if you're outside the 3-point line and you do bounce it, that kind of sounds like if you bounce it and your feet are behind the line, that counts as a 3.
I don't know. See, we don't have complete clarification.
I'm going to try getting some clarity on this.
I think we've talked about it enough.
Real quick, prediction. Cavs win. You feel good about a Cavs win
I feel good about them bouncing back, yes.
I think it'll be close.
It's a
close game,
It'll be a close game.
119-112 Cavs.
I will just mention before we move on that after the loss, all the Cavs that we talked to in the locker room, Darius Donovan in particular, said, we are excited about the fact we get to play them again on Tuesday.
Sure.
There's no game in between. We get our chance at immediate revenge. So that should be fun. We'll check that out. We'll have a full recap tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports. So we're going to get back to the Browns, and then we're going to get back to the Cavs to end the show. But this next topic is brought to us by Game Time. You guys know I love going to live events. One of my favorite memories last season was attending the Max Strus full court buzzer beater to beat the Dallas Mavericks at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. The energy and excitement are unforgettable, and now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Bull?
Game time.
We talked about Dak Prescott earlier. That was a more unrealistic quarterback option. But after the Vikings lost to the Rams last night, Sam Darnold was sacked 9 times, a playoff record. He also did not play well. Did not play well in Week 18 in the winner-take-all matchup against the Detroit Lions. Kevin O'Connell had some interesting comments afterwards. He would not commit long-term to Sam Darnold and made it seem like they certainly are open to the possibility of moving to J.J. McCarthy as their full-time
they did just draft him in the first round a year ago.
I watched it.
We had, real quick, because I wanted to ask the question, I'll let you guys run with it. We had talked about Darnold before, but we all were in consensus when he was playing at the level he was. A, Minnesota wasn't going to let him walk, and B, if they did, he'd probably be too expensive for the Browns' liking. But after 2 bad back-to-back performances in the biggest stage of the season for the Vikings, do you think Darnold might now be a realistic option for the Browns, Ty?
I tell you what, I watched that game last night, and all I thought about was Rick Ross BMF. Blowing money fast. That boy,
you don't think the team is going to sign him now?
That boy was out there like this. He was like that. Then let that boy just throwing it out.
I did not. I'll be honest. I did not watch the game at all last night. I was out.
Nasty work.
I saw the score in the second
throws,
quarter.
Man. Listen, this is the thing about quarterbacks, and particularly the ones that are coming up in this year's free agency, is that every quarterback, I would say, that's going to be like a top free agent had a moment this season where it was like, you know what?
We can do this.
They look good. And then towards the end of it, boom, they revert back to the same guy. You can say that about Jameis. You can say that about Sam. You can say that about Kirk Cousins. You can say that about Russell Wilson.
Well, let's be fair. Sam Darnold played way better than any of those guys.
That's fine. But at the end of the day,
he didn't,
when you needed
those
it the
last
most,
2 games,
boom, they went right back to who they was.
It got 12 o'clock. that pumpkin coach turned back into the – listen, Bull, when you watch the game, it was – those stats are very – those are
That ain't
skewed.
what it was.
This man,
what it was.
I saw him, what it seemed like 7 plays in a row, just run around and get sacked.
Mm-hmm.
Just run like, and I was like,
9.
Yeah.
I said, Sam, when did you become Mike Vick? And Troy Aikman was killing him. He was like, Sam, he almost wanted to was trying to talk to him, for the quarterback omniscient, they're connected in the spirit realm.
Yeah, sure.
Sam, you got to get rid of the ball.
He lost some money.
I mean, they took the ball from him. They got a scoop and score. He threw an out route. They jumped it out across the field. It looked like he was confused. They looked like they had no chance of winning that game, and Kevin O'Connell was over there looking like Kevin Stefanski. You could tell they looked like they boys, because O'Connell was just bewildered. He was just on the sideline what is he doing? It was nasty work, and you know what? The only thing that came to me was they are who we thought they were.
Maybe so.
Baker, I thought y'all got that off. Y'all was very nice to Baker Mayfield yesterday.
Baker, did he have a touchdown?
He played well in the game.
But
he played pretty well.
Hey, bro,
he played better than Sam Darnold.
Yeah, but you can't drop no snap.
No, that was bad.
You can't.
Not completely his fault, but it was bad.
You can't. And what we talk about is, where do you want to be? You want to be here, or you want to be here?
Got to clean them turnovers.
Somebody's going to sign Sam Darnold still to a multi-year deal, in my opinion. I don't think it should be the Browns.
It should be the Tennessee Titans, and then they can take that pick and then draft somebody else.
Wait, Bull, tell us why you don't think it should be the Browns.
Now listen. Some of this is my bias. When it came to the 2018 draft. All right, I'm going to tell you, for those who don't remember,
he was a Josh Rosen guy.
What my rankings were, good and bad, because I got some of it right and some of it I was terribly wrong. My number one guy was Josh Rosen. Obviously, couldn't be more wrong, but that was the truth at the time.
He was a good player.
Now I was biased because I wanted there to be a Jewish quarterback. You want some representation. We got no Jews in the NFL. We certainly got no quarterbacks. I wanted one to be good, so I conned myself into believing. My number 2 guy, believe it or not, was Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. Nobody else had Lamar that high. I liked Lamar a lot, so I was right about that. My 3rd guy was Baker.
Right.
My 4th guy was Josh Allen, and my 5th guy was Sam Darnold. Everybody loved Darnold. I didn't like it. Now, I was right about Darnold. I was right about Lamar. I would say I was on pace with Baker. I was wrong about Allen, and I was definitely wrong about Rosen. But I never liked Darnold. I never thought he was going to be good. Now, he played well this year. All due credit. He played very well for the most part. He was a top 10 quarterback over the season.
What are we asking?
But I'm not giving him a multi-year contract. I don't trust him enough.
What are we asking ourselves here? So I guess when you're about to give this guy the contract, the question you got to ask is this guy going to win the Super Bowl? Is this a Super Bowl winning quarterback?
No.
I don't think he is. No. That's it.
We're all in agreement with that, but let me ask, of the options, let's say they don't take a quarterback at 2 then, or even if they do take a quarterback and don't want him to start right away, considering the other options on the market to be a potential bridge guy, Tyvis, is Darnold as good as they can do, though? Or is there a better option?
If you can get him on a 1-year deal, sure, I'd take him on a 1-year deal.
He's the best they got.
Yeah, because of the fact that he was in San Fran and he was with Minnesota. They run that under center.
Yeah, he could run this offense.
He would run Kevin's offense perfectly for a year that you need for a bridge guy. He'd be the perfect candidate for it. Since Kevin is going back to Kevin's offense, he can run Kevin's offense.
Man, look, McVay and them, I wish you would have saw the game. McVay and them.
They run the same stuff.
McVay and them had them boys shook.
Did you see that?
Yeah. He had them shook.
Here's the problem, and I know you may not want to hear this, G, and a lot of fans don't want to hear this. But if they don't draft a quarterback this year, well, if you sign Sam Darnold, you're not going to be bad enough to get a good pick next year. And then that puts you in limbo. And I you don't want to lose, but you don't want to be in limbo either. That's a bad place to be.
So as we extrapolate this, and I think thank you for saying that. Can we do something here on this show and say this? Can we get rid of the notion that there is even an option that you can either look in a crystal ball and forecast any quarterback play a year in advance?
You can't.
But I hear so many people say it, and it's infuriating because we're like, guys, you guys are educated and analysts. You understand this.
Yeah.
You're
right. That's fair.
You know that's not going to happen, right?
Where everybody said, well, let's wait for next year. We'll get Arch Manning. We'll get this guy. We don't know what's going to turn out with those guys. It always changes every year.
It changes every year. And like you said, if you do get a Sam Darnold, there's no way you're going to be good enough to even get one of those guys. Bad enough to get one.
Right.
And by the way, if Arch Manning is Arch Manning, there's no amount of picks that you can trade that person.
No, you have to be the first. You have to have the first pick.
You have to have the first pick. So for me, it's the catch-22. It's the age-old thing. And it's like almost like, do you want to be the Steelers? Because we talked about the Steelers the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Russell Wilson. You saw how that ended.
Yeah.
You might get you 10 wins, 9 if he's playing great, 11.
He hasn't won a playoff. I mean, Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in what, close to 10 years at this point.
It's been 8 years. 2016, they've lost 6 straight playoff games.
I mean, that's a long time.
But they're not bad enough to
get one of these best quarterbacks.
So my thing is, how do you go about doing it? And that's why I think slowly but surely there's a lot of people seeing this as an opportunity to say, look, I know you may not be completely sold on one of these quarterbacks, but you're sitting at a position where
last year would have been the year.
But what are we gonna do?
They got everyone.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. You're sitting at a position.
It was 6 went last year. Caleb, Jaden, Drake, Michael Penix, JJ, Bo Nix.
What if the Browns? I know this as annoying as it is to talk about. What if they hadn't traded Baker? I got it even better. What if they had taken Lamar or Josh Allen in 2018?
Or you want a better one?
Yeah.
What if they took Mahomes in 2017?
The only reason I can't go on that one is because they got Myles Garrett, and if we got to keep it 100, as G. Bush would say. None of us were talking about them drafting those guys that year.
No.
But in 18, they were taking a quarterback.
Who was the quarterback in 17?
Deshaun Kaiser.
Oh, I was here. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
It was.
I don't know why we weren't.
Cody Kessler was the quarterback, and then they drafted Kaiser.
Yeah.
I was 3 quarterbacks went in the top 12. You guys weren't talking quarterback.
I don't know
for
why.
The Browns in
I don't know why, but we were not.
Because the Myles Garrett was just kind of a sure. It was a guarantee.
But I'm always wanting a quarterback. I don't know why I wasn't at that time.
So again, history kind of repeats itself because we've kind of. I think we've kind of talked ourselves out of even considering the quarterback because we're like,
we can't get it right.
No, we can't get it right. Or no, these aren't the right people. Wouldn't you think if you are a quarterback coach and you had access to every single college quarterback available, don't you think that you if they locked you in a room, you can find something that says, I like this guy and I think I can win with him?
I would think.
I would think that would be a thing Stefanski could do. Right?
Wait a minute.
And by the way, going back to 17, Watson and Mahomes, obviously by where they were drafted, were not considered short things at the time.
No,
Trubisky was the first guy off the board,
which is
crazy.
Which I didn't agree with.
I didn't agree with it.
Yeah, but he had only played 1 year in college.
Wait a minute. What's the dude? Wasn't DTR like the? Didn't they have him projected as like their 3rd best quarterback in the draft?
I remember.
No, I said 5th. They had him at 5.
Okay, it's 5th best quarterback in the draft. Don't do that.
But think about if they had drafted Allen or Lamar. Now, I know what a lot of fans will say is, well, they would have just screwed them up. They wouldn't have been any good. I don't believe that.
I do.
You think so?
No.
Yes. I'm talking about in what year?
18.
Who was the coach?
Is it Hugh?
Was Hugh still here?
No, Hugh was gone.
No.
Freddie Kitchen?
I'm sorry. Hugh was the coach, and then he got fired. Yeah, you're right.
I'm more ascribed to what Bull says. Yeah. I feel like, to be honest, I think the Browns just have to get lucky. Like I feel like bad organizations, when they have people that meddle or do certain things, they have to luck into the guy.
Yeah,
and
that's how they did with Kevin and AB.
So if you get the guy, like say for instance,
he's talking about quarterback.
Say
they lucked into Kevin.
Say you get Josh Allen, or you get Lamar Jackson, or you get Burrow. Your coach almost becomes an after story, because that person is like, he's now the focus of it. He's the leader. He's the guy who you're gonna run everything through him. He's the one dude that's making everybody better. So no one thinks about who the Bengals head coach is, because it don't even really matter, to be truthful. And we've seen it kind of happen with LeBron. Like, yeah, the Cavs I remember watching LeBron for the first time, and everybody was like, this kid can't be that good. This kid. And in one game against Sacramento, I had a house full of people sitting here, and we were like, the Cavs are different now.
Yeah.
And that's the way it happens with the quarterback position.
Yes.
So it almost don't matter who your owner or your coach is once you get a transcendent type dude. And I know it's hard for people to say that because it hasn't happened here.
Do you see that with any of these quarterbacks?
That's how that's how I know they didn't make the playoffs this year, but that's how I feel about Burrow.
Yeah.
I expect the Bengals to win every game they play when he's the quarterback. Obviously, it's not going to happen, and there are issues on the team. But when you have a quarterback like that, which the Browns have never had, as good as Bernie was, he wasn't that level.
Not that level,
and that's a long time ago anyway.
Right.
But you feel like you're gonna win every game.
And you don't want, even the Bengals had a bad year. Nobody wanted to play the Bengals. People was praying, do not show me no Bengals, the way that offense was playing. And like you look at it, Josh Allen is the same way. Lamar Jackson is that same way. Patrick, you always have a shot. And for the Browns, you have to find a transcendent player that kind of exudes the level of control.
Well, look at Washington. We don't know yet because he's got to do it. He's got to back it up in the second year.
Right.
But right now in Washington, they feel like, if you're a Washington fan, they have sucked forever. Right?
They've been their minds.
Now, they were good, Joe Theismann, and they had their years with Doug Williams and whatever. Yeah. But they haven't had a quarterback, at least where we think this level is, in a long. Well, I shouldn't say he's better than Joe Theismann. That's unfair. His potential is higher than Joe Theismann.
I'm saying that's the last time they
had. For the half season they had of RG3 as a rookie, though, they thought he could be that, but that never lasted.
Yes, RG3 as a rookie was fantastic. We forget that. But then he got hurt in the playoffs, and he was never the same guy.
Never the same.
And Jaden Daniels is much bigger than, like, physically stronger than RG3. He's way better than RG3. But he was great that first year.
They have this mental. It ain't like they're cocky.
Yeah.
Like we had some, listen, don't get back. Baker has a lot of that stuff. That's why it hurt so much, because it was one or two ticks off. You like, he got it. Like when he walk on the field, I'm him. I know it.
I feel dangerous.
When he said I woke up feeling dead, I said, oh, this dude, this it right here. He got the skill set. He try to fit the football places, but they have it where it's like, they ain't worried about none of that. It's not like, no, like they just have that thing where it's I know that I know that I know. And the thing that I like about Shedeur Sanders is this. Yeah, my dad is like prime, but I love the fact that when they talk about Shedeur Sanders, his dad says he's been grown for years. Like he ain't like Shiloh. He's been grown. I like the fact that he came from HBCU. Came to Colorado, and they were 1-something, and they came in with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, and that was it. And that's all they had. No line, no defense, no nothing. And they come into Division I. Like
Shiloh was there.
That's a half. He's like a jack of spades.
So to put a bow on this before we get to the next topic, Darnold, Bull, you're out. G,
I'd be in on Darnold on a 1-year contract.
1-year deal.
Yeah.
G, what's your stipulation on Darnold? 1-year deal, or would you be willing to give him a 2-3-year deal?
No, I can't roll with the 2 because I need a bridge guy. I need it to be urgent. Like, okay, we're gonna give you a 1-year deal. and then give me the guy, hand it off to the dude.
Yeah.
What are we accomplishing here? What is this like?
This is the Browns' current situation. Are you willing to give Darnold a deal to be
potentially
the long-term guy?
So let me ask you this: if I'm Kevin, like, am I good past this year?
Don't know that. Well, that's the thing. Because if I'm Kevin, I want Sam Darnold.
Give me him.
Because Sam Darnold gives me the best chance to win.
Give me Sam.
But
if I'm Kevin, give me Sam.
It depends also on if they draft Shedeur Sanders at 2. Well, you're not paying a free agent quarterback multi-years. And you probably, if you draft Shedeur Sanders, you're not getting Sam Darnold, period.
Sam Darnold
because you're not going to pay $25 million even for 1 year.
And I don't think Sam Darnold would go there.
I don't think Sam getting more than a 2-year deal wherever he go.
Or at least 2 years guaranteed.
I think
he
Sam
getting the Kirk Cousins joint.
I think Sam hurt that game.
It was bad.
The last 2, because he played bad against Detroit, and that game was for the division. And now Cousins has had a better career than Darnold, but Cousins is also older than Darnold. Right. So we'll see.
The last thing on Darnold before we move on is the Rams' game plan last night was exactly what Detroit did last week, and they had very similar results.
I got Sam Darnold on one of my dynasty teams. I'm not feeling good about it.
All right, guys, one last read today. If you don't have Rocket Money, I highly encourage you to download the app. It has helped me find subscriptions I forgot I was paying for, and it saved me money. It happens to people all the time. They don't even realize they're still paying for certain subscriptions, and Rocket Money makes it easy to track them all down. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year. When using all of the app's premium features, cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That is rocketmoney.com/lockedon, rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Guys, there are currently 9 open offensive coordinator positions across the NFL. We'll go through the list here real quick, but the Browns have an open offensive coordinator position with a current sitting head coach. So does Seattle. The other ones outside of New England, who just hired Mike Vrabel, also need to hire a head coach. Vegas and Dallas in the market for both a head coach and an offensive coordinator. Steve, take the next graphic for the Final Four. Chicago, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and the Jets all in the market for an offensive coordinator. When you look at the Browns' offensive coordinator opening versus the other 8 around football, Bull, where do you think the Browns' job ranks in terms of most attractive to some potential top-tier candidates?
Guys, I'm putting the Browns at 6 out of 9 spots, and it could be lower depending on who these teams hire as head coaches, and here's why. Dang. Bring up the jobs again, Mike, please. Okay, so I'd rather have Seattle because if I'm the OC at Seattle, I get to call plays.
Yep.
Because Seattle's head coach is a defensive guy. I'd rather be the OC at New England. I got a rookie quarterback second-year quarterback in Drake May who looked pretty good with no talent around him as a rookie. And again, I have a defensive head coach, so I'm going to call plays. At Dallas, I got Dak Prescott. So I got a proven quarterback. So I'm
number one receiver,
number one receiver. I got no running back. Oh, what's his name?
Rico Dowdle played pretty well.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle played well the second half of the year. So you got to deal with Jerry. It's a little bit of pain in the neck, but you're the OC. You're not the head coach. You don't deal with him that much. And so I got Dak, and we don't know. They might have a defensive coach too. Who knows? Okay, now I'd rather have the Chicago job and the Jacksonville job because Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence. Now, Caleb was not great as a rookie, and Trevor Lawrence, to this point in his career, has been a disappointment. However, you know there's guys in this. Certainly Caleb Williams, nobody's writing him off yet after 1 year. He wasn't that bad as a rookie. He wasn't great, but he wasn't that bad. You know there's coaches in the NFL that think they can make Trevor Lawrence into a good quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you know there are coaches that way. So the only jobs I would put the Browns ahead of right now, between not having a quarterback and knowing that you probably won't call plays, is New Orleans. They don't have a quarterback, and we don't know if you're going to get to call plays yet. Same with the Jets. I mean, I don't know if they'll have Aaron. Plus, you might have to deal with Aaron Rodgers. which would be a pain in the ass at this point. And then the Raiders don't have a quarterback, and the Browns do pick higher than all those teams in the draft.
Right.
So I would put the Browns at 6 right now.
I had them at like 4th or 5th, but then I didn't factor in the fact that you ain't calling the plays.
Right, that was it. That was part of the reason.
That's a big part of it.
That's a huge part of it. You look at it. I'm with you.
It's hard not to be.
I'm with. I mean, you laid it out brilliantly right there because when you look at what the Browns have done, and this is the crazy thing too. When you look at the coordinators that they've had, right? So the first coordinator they let go, everybody won Coach of the Year. Everybody got awards, and his reward for having 5 different quarterbacks playing is he got fired.
Yeah.
Then the next year, you know, you got another guy in Dorsey who comes in. He wasn't calling the plays. They give him the plays in the middle of the season after the quarterbacks go down. They give it to him. He gets Jameis Winston to throw for 500. They're like, nah, you're not going to play Jameis no more. You'll play DTR. He looks horrible. And then they fire this guy too. So if I'm looking at it, I'm like, so you do good, you get fired. Yeah. And when you do bad, you get fired.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call the plays. Mm-hmm. So that's a lateral move. Like, why would I come to like why would Bull go from being a host on this show to a sidekick on another show in Cleveland? That's bad work. Like that's nasty work. Like Tyvis, you shouldn't go to Toledo to do radio. You already do radio in Columbus and you work in Cleveland. Why would you go to Toledo? What's in Toledo?
What about Dayton? You making it Dayton?
Listen, the Browns' offensive coordinator position is Youngstown. That is Youngstown.
The Browns are Youngstown.
The Browns is Youngstown offensive coordinator, babysitting and going over like quarterback stuff. It's not an attractive job. Even Tommy Reese, if I was him, I'm like, listen, let me get a shot somewhere else.
Yeah. Tommy Reese is actually one of the candidates Mike Vrabel's looking at in New England as well.
And by the way, the 3 teams I have behind the Browns, the Jets, New Orleans, and the Raiders, if any of those teams hire defensive coaches, I'm probably moving them ahead of the Browns.
Yeah.
Because the one name on this I wanted to mention was Clint Kubiak, who interviewed for the Browns offensive coordinator position yesterday. Today he's in Seattle interviewing with the Seahawks, which is why I thought this was topical because that's another guy on the list.
We do have to be fair and say we don't know for sure that the OC is not going to call plays here. I think the assumption is that, hey, they let Dorsey call plays. They fired him. Kevin's doing his own way. We know he wants to call plays. So we assume he's going to call plays again, but we don't know that for sure, to be fair. But
and this is,
I think that honestly, if he hired Clint,
that'd be a good hire. Yeah.
I think that he maybe would let Clint call the plays.
You think?
I think because they speak the same language.
Right.
See, him and Ken was not on. That's 2 totally different styles.
Right. Okay. Fair. That's true.
With Clint, I know what you gonna call because I would have called the same thing. We running the same thing.
And your pops is the disciple.
I learned from your pops, so I'm good with that.
I get it. Matter of fact,
if it's Tommy Reese, I need you to show me.
And at the very least, to your point, Tyvis, even if maybe he hires Clint and says, "Hey, I'm going to call plays this year, and then next year I'm turning it over to you."
I think that's the same thing with Tommy Reese.
Right? He could, but Clint, he's already got. Well, he had Tommy Reese here, but
what was I know they didn't have a quarterback. What was the Saints' offensive rankings total?
Give me a sec. What?
They had Derek Carr, who's obviously not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to take it with a grain of salt.
And they had a ton of injuries.
Yeah,
Kamara got hurt at the end of the year.
Chris Olave was out.
Olave missed a bunch of games at the end of the year. Even they had that other receiver got off to a great start, and then he got hurt.
Shakir. No, Shaheed.
Shaheed, yeah.
New Orleans this season, Tyvis, finished 24th in points per game, 19.9. And in terms of total offense, we'll just go total yards per game. I know it's not the greatest stat, but they finished 21st. So.
That's actually not as bad as I would have thought, considering they had Derek Carr and their whole offense was hurt.
And Carr missed like 5-6 games.
Yeah.
They also had those 2 crazy first games of the season.
That's true. The beginning of the season,
incredible.
They looked great those first 2 games. Was he calling the plays there?
He was, yes.
Okay. So how could he leave for another OC job?
The whole staff
got
fired.
Oh, shoot. I forgot.
They say Aaron Glenn about to go back and take it over.
Yeah, it's, with Stefanski, actually, I don't really care who they bring in as coordinator. I'm all on this game plan where Hey, it's your show, dog.
Yeah, that's right.
It's on you, man. You could bring in Scooby-Doo if you want.
I just want them to, but to that vein, in that vein there, G, bring in somebody that's his guy.
Hey, bring your
That's a
people in.
Stefanski guy, and that's what Kubiak is.
If y'all gonna do it to the highest nth degree, please, all by means, you better stockpile it, even the coaching staff.
All I know is if Clint went and took another interview today, they didn't impress him that much for what they said.
Yes, usually, don't they say that?
You don't leave the building. You the guy. You ain't leaving. You ain't leaving
but we gotta get your sign.
I think that's different for coaches, though. I think some of them have them scheduled ahead of Mike McCarthy has 3 interviews set up this week. He's going with the Bears,
McNuggets,
and they just announced 1 minute ago he's interviewing for the Saints job now.
McNuggets. Before I signed with the Dallas Cowboys in 2019. I went on a off-season workout tour. I worked out for like 5 days.
Oh, really?
And I had like 3 scheduled after
Bengals?
that. No, I didn't work out for the Bengals.
Remember the Bengals, man. Where were they on you? They should have been there.
They should have.
Idiots.
It is what it is. But I did like 4 or 5 workouts back to back to back to back, and I had like 2 more after that. So, and Dallas just said, we ain't going to let you leave. We want to sign you. And I'm like, all right, cool. So if that's the case, I feel like coaching, it could be the similar way. You could cancel them other. If they came in and said,
you're saying the Browns weren't that impressed?
No, I'm saying Clint Kubiak.
Was not that impressed with the Browns.
Because think about it, if somebody gave you an unbelievable offer, you'd be like.
And maybe the Browns don't give anybody offers like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to rip them because I don't know how that works. I have no idea the inner workings on that. I just want to mention one last thing to Tyvis before we move on to our last Cavs topic. Steve, take this full, but Tyvis said he's got to get one of his guys. Of the 5 guys we know that have been brought in for an interview, the top 2, Reese and Kubiak, would be considered legitimate Stefanski guys. Bevel would too. Sorry, Bevel worked in Minnesota. So Bevel, Kubiak, and Reese, legitimate Stefanski guys.
Chugging along, huh?
Koger and London, I'm not sure where the connection and how deep that goes.
I'm pretty sure he was my OC in Seattle.
So you know this. So you guys heard a couple of days ago when they said about the coaching staff, and Andrew Berry said, Kevin hires his own coaches, right?
Yeah.
So if that's Kevin Stefanski's responsibility, he hires his own coaches, then that would denote that he has some traditional coaching powers and the GM has traditional GM powers. So do you think that Andrew Berry could fire Kevin Stefanski?
I don't think so. I don't think he'd want to. I think they're very close.
What I'm saying, I'm saying.
I don't know if
not closeness aside.
Yeah.
Do you think he has the ability to do that?
Probably not. I don't know that every GM has the ability to fire the head coach. And the way the Browns hired,
Stefanski was here first,
right? And he was part of the team that was doing the interviews. I think.
Do you think McNuggets? Do you think Andrew Berry has the power to fire Kevin Stefanski?
By himself, no.
Do you think DePodesta does?
I have no idea, but I would assume it's a Haslam. I'll be honest.
I think
so you're saying that each 3 of those individuals report to Jimmy Haslam individually?
Probably.
That's wild.
But I will tell you this.
But I think that's real quick, Bull. I think that's pretty similar for a lot of.
I don't
NFL
think there's
teams.
a lot of GMs that can fire the coach.
Yeah, I'm with Bull. I don't think.
You think they didn't be back in the day? That was like the.
Yeah, but I think that's changed. I mean, look at all the good teams. None of those teams, the GM couldn't fire the coach.
A lot of the times, the head coach got the most power.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they're siloed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some teams more than others, but. Yeah. That's why it's important for the coach and the GM to be on the same page.
Yeah, like basically they're at the hip. And the reason I asked that because in the offseason people were floating the idea that Berry should go and Kevin Stefanski should stay.
Well, see, I was more for firing Berry than Stefanski, and then I was like, let's fire them both. And then I flip-flopped, obviously, and said keep them both. And the reason I wanted to keep Berry also, even though I was initially more in favor of firing him than Stefanski, is that if nothing else, the one good thing you could say about this current regime, whether you like it or not, is that there's been every other regime in the last 20 years, there's been infighting between coach and GM. And that has not been the case here. These guys are both nerds.
Mm-hmm. Yes, at the highest level.
Yes. And so I don't think we have that issue. And I think that if you did fire Andrew Berry, And if you brought in a new GM and he wasn't on the same page with Kevin, that's not a great thing.
And now we get to see this year, everything is proven. Now
Everything's proven.
Now it's like, oh,
everything's proven.
Both of y'all.
100%.
They are going to sink or swim together this year,
yes.
100%. I think they're both out if the Browns are a mess next year. And by the way, it doesn't mean they even have to make the playoffs. Obviously, we want them to.
8-9.
The organization has to be clearly, without a doubt, going in the right direction.
Yep.
At minimum,
100%.
at the end of next year.
7-10.
Otherwise, they're both gone. I'm not even going to put a record on it. They got to be clear.
It's
got to be obvious. We have to feel good about the team.
You know what it looks like, Tyvis.
You know when you see it.
Yes.
You know when you see it. Because they can have a rookie quarterback if he's playing and they don't win games, but they're playing.
Right.
There are a lot of things that could impact
Listen,
that.
Minnesota won 14 this year. Do you feel great if you're a Minnesota fan right now? You don't feel great.
They did the same thing. They did
Steelers won 10. You feeling great if you're a Steelers fan right now?
2 years ago, they did the exact same thing.
Keenum games.
You know it when you see it.
You know it.
Yeah, it was Kirk Cousins was still there.
Last topic of the day.
Yeah.
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all you guys out there who make UCSS a daily
Yes,
part of
we
your
do.
team. We mean it from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you guys for hanging out with us every day. ESPN's Kevin Pelton put out an article, it was last Friday, of his ESPN NBA All-Star roster projections way too early. And he categorized it as, wait, there's still 15 games to go. A lot can change. But I found something interesting.
Yeah.
He had 3 Cavs making the All-Star team. Donovan, Evan, and Jared Allen. He did not have Darius. Part of the reasoning in Kevin Pelton's article was the amount of front court candidates has been completely cut down because of injuries. Paolo Banchero's missed a ton of games. Franz Wagner's missed a ton of games. Jimmy Butler's been suspended, missing games. Just a smaller candidate pool compared to the guards.
Jimmy Butler cannot be on the All-Star team.
I don't think he will be. No, I don't. And he just, by the way, he sat down and demanded a trade officially to Pat Riley during the show. So different story for another day. But he said the Eastern Conference guards, a lot more competition, and he thought the Cavs should have 3 All-Stars. But in this exercise at this point in time, he thought it was an easier path for Jared Allen to be the 3rd All-Star. And to get the Cavs 3, he gave Jared Allen the nod over Darius Garland.
Does there have to be a specific amount of front court and back court players?
Nope. Could be whatever.
So then why would you put Allen in? Why wouldn't you just have an extra guard?
This was just his this was his article. So a 2-part question.
Yeah.
1, is that kind of a BS excuse? And 2, for the sake of could the Cavs get 4 All-Stars, what do you think their record would have to be to justify that 4th spot?
Right where it is right now.
I was about to say.
Head and shoulders better than the Celtics in the Eastern Conference.
If Darius want to get in, Darius is going to have like 2 more. Well, he says 15 games left. He got to have
16, but yeah.
16 games to the All-Star break or to the final voting's up. He's got to have like 2 or 3 40-point games. You do that, he in there.
I would say this, guy.
Didn't he just come off of one like a couple of games ago? He had like 41.
He had a great game against Toronto.
Whether they have 5 losses at the break or 10, I don't think that should matter in terms of – they shouldn't automatically get 4 just because they have 5 losses, and they shouldn't automatically get less than 4 because they have 10 losses. The guy's got to be worthy. I love Jared Allen, but I don't think Jared Allen's an all-star. I think he's a very good player.
He's a second.
I don't think he's an all-star.
How would you rank
I would put Darius Garland in. If I were picking the all-star game right now, I would have Donovan, Evan, and Darius in
Let
and
me
Jared
ask you
out.
this. On the Eastern.
Oh, wait, hold on. So I have to make a correction. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I need to apologize. There is a select number of guards forwards, but then there's 2 wild card spots. So those 2 wild card spots can go to anyone else.
So did he have Jared?
Let me ask you.
What bigs did they have so far?
So in the East, where would you have Jared Allen ranked as a big?
I'm not sure.
Because, I mean, people will say Bam Adebayo, but he ain't scoring at the clip.
Who are the bigs that he has in, Mike?
Miles Turner.
I'll give you the starters are Donovan, LaMelo Ball, and that's because he's leading the fan. He says literally it's just because he's leading the fan vote right now. Giannis, Tatum, and Karl Anthony Towns are the starters.
Okay.
His reserves, Brunson, Trae Young as his 2 guards. His 3 front court players, Jaylen Brown, Mobley, and Allen. And then his 2 wild cards, Damian Lillard and Cade Cunningham.
I really can't. I can't hate on none of that.
I'm about to say that.
Is Cade Cunningham technically front court or back court?
He's a point guard.
He plays point guard.
See, shows what the hell I know.
I can't.
I thought he was a wing player. That's how much I've watched the Pistons.
He is 6'8", and that's what makes him so unique.
Who's the next big man you put in there over Allen if you were going to replace Allen?
So it's front court, so it doesn't have to be a center. It just has to
who's
be
the next front court
It has to
player?
be a forward, and it comes down to how many games do you believe a player has to play to then qualify?
Well, I'm asking your opinion, Mike. Who would you?
Well, I'm trying to stall as I pull up the stats here. I'm stalling.
Just going by stats? I thought you know everybody in the
NBA.
I
want to see how many games a certain player has played.
Joel Embiid.
No, he hasn't played.
No, Embiid not
Embiid
closely, nearly enough. I think Jalen Johnson on Atlanta's having a hell of a season.
Yes, he is.
I would certainly consider him as a possibility there.
Yes, he is.
If Indiana keeps playing well and Siakam keeps shooting the way he has the last 10 games, Siakam will put himself.
Is Allen an all-star, yes or no? Answer the question. Does he feel like an all-star to you?
No.
Mike?
He feels like an all-star on a 40-17.
That's bogus. I
don't think it is. His numbers so here's the thing with Jared Allen.
Yeah.
He's averaging 14 points and 10.8 rebounds, 10.2 rebounds. His defensive value is not quantified in numbers. He's averaging less than 2 stocks per game, which is steals plus blocks.
Yeah.
Great stat. He switches on point guards and can control people, but that doesn't get quantified in the traditional box score numbers.
Is he all defensive team?
No.
So he's not an elite defender.
He's a good defender, not elite.
Okay. How many other players are averaging a double-double? Is there a lot?
Yeah, I don't have a way to sort
give me a ballpark if you had to guess.
I'm looking at just centers right now.
Brook Lopez.
3, 4.
He don't deserve
There are 4 current centers averaging a double-double, and 1, 2, and then one more. So we're like 7, 8 in the Eastern Conference averaging a double-double.
All right. That's not that many guys.
He's fringe. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in the conversation.
It's frustrating because Darius Garland, to me,
should be an all-star.
Is more of an all-star than Jared.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
They should get 4. And the reason they should get 4, I go back and look at the NBA and with precedents. I go back and look at the Detroit Pistons back in the day when they had Chauncey Billups, Tayshaun Prince, and the Wallace boys, right? They had 4.
Yeah.
You go back and look at the Hawks. They had Millsap. They had Kyle Korver. They had Jeff Teague and Horford.
But if you're going to put him in, who do you put him in over?
My issue is they should have.
Joe.
I have no issue with them getting 4 all-stars. I just think Darius has to be the 3rd. If there's one who's on the fringe, I understand the whole there's not enough front court guys versus back court. Darius has to be an all-star. Darius 1,000% should be an all-star.
It's stupid that there has to be a certain amount of front court players.
If he get 2 to 3 more 40-point games in these next 16 games, he's in.
Because Jared Allen on that list is the worst player. Is that fair?
Yes.
And Darius is better than Jared Allen.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. It's a life question. I really want a Darius Garland jersey.
Yeah.
Am I too old for a Darius Garland jersey?
Why? No.
Wait.
You think he's too old?
I can't wear jerseys no more?
Yeah, that's the
You're talking to a guy wearing a jersey right now.
The rules of engagement are this. The rules of engagement is there's a certain age in which you go into grown man status.
30?
Yeah, when you start pushing 30 or your kids is a certain age.
Okay, what's that?
I'm
teetering the line.
Like when you get to be 28 and you got a LaMelo Ball jersey on, it's kind of like.
You know what though, Tyvis, you're a unique individual.
The funny thing is, I would definitely wear the jersey.
You're not a follower. Do whatever the hell you want.
If I had a DG jersey, I would 1,000% come on here rocking my.
I don't got a problem with that. I think Dustin would wear a player
Cavs
jersey. He's a lot older than you.
He's my favorite player on the Cavs. I think I'm wearing. Oh, look at that!
There you go.
That's fine. You can get that off.
That's not a jersey.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a great shirt, though.
That's a great shirt.
It is a great shirt,
but you can't get that off.
I'm in favor of you getting the jersey.
You can look.
Should I get the blue one or should I get the black one?
I don't know. You guys like the powder?
I love the powder.
You like the powder blue? I like North Carolina.
Yeah, should I get the powder blue?
This is just like
what the chat said. I'm 30. I'll be 31 next month.
I think I mean, if you go all in and get this,
that's what I said. I'm teetering the line.
To me, if you're going all in, you got to go powder blue.
This is like the last one I can get off.
Like you're right. He is close.
This would be the last jersey I buy.
Now, can you not wear a football jersey because you played football?
I got a Deion jersey. I got a Deion, Bo Jackson.
I'm
not wearing a current player.
That's
no, I'm not wearing a current.
Can I wear a Joe Burrow jersey? Is that appropriate? No.
You're a fan. You're a fan.
Yeah, you're a casual fan.
You're a casual fan, and
yes. I cannot
actually no.
I can't.
The only jersey that I could be like okay and get away with,
throwback,
is if it was like Denzel Ward, because like I know Denzel, or if it was Marshawn, like it was something like that, like I could wear those.
Like he can't have think of how reckless this sounds. Like just say a football player, like he can't go get no. He can't have no Justin Jefferson jersey.
I'm not doing that.
And
I'm not doing that.
Crazy.
Now, next year when he's playing in the CFL, will you get a Zeke Elliott jersey?
Will you stop that? He got picked up by. He's still rolling. He went to Chargers.
Oh, that's right. He went to the Chargers.
Well, no, they lost.
Well, they stopped.
They lost. They did lose.
He got 1 week with the Chargers.
We got super chats to wrap. Well, end the conversation. Darius should be an all-star. If Derek gets in, it will be deserved. But Darius has to be.
By the way, folks, no overtime today.
Yes, no overtime today. We got to record something.
Yeah.
Afterwards, back to regular schedule overtime tomorrow. Skilly with our first super chat says, Tyvis. Skilly doesn't watch live. He's usually after. He works.
Skilly.
Shout out to our on-demand crowd, man. We appreciate y'all checking the on-demand crowd.
Go back and
Skilly says, I broke my right leg and had to learn to drive lefty. Back to where we started from the show.
That is not fun. I had a famous.
Wait a minute. So like. Did you go back to the right though? Like,
did you switch back?
All right, I get that you wanted to drive.
Awful. Yeah,
but like
one time, I don't know if you remember this. You weren't there that day, but one time when I was working at the radio station, we had these chairs that would you can sit back on, and the chair broke.
That chair reclined,
and I fell off a high chair,
bro,
and I hurt myself badly. Like my back was and my legs, and I was effed up.
And you drove,
and I had to drive home
on pain
and I could barely. I had to use both feet. I had to hit the brake with my left foot because I had to keep my right leg in that one spot. I couldn't move it back and forth.
I remember this chair. He didn't know this chair was this chair was actually a transformer. It transformed on it and was like.
I mean, I'm sitting up. It's a high chair. Like my butt's here.
Yeah.
And I'm tilting back. It's like the last hour of the show. The back falls off. Boom.
It was like a little step down, too.
Oh, my God.
Next super
By the way, I'm going to tell folks now this, too. One time I had a fight in the studio.
Sure did.
Save it for tomorrow. I can't wait to hear that.
I've never said.
Sure did.
I've never. I remember that. I remember that. I'm not going to say who I had
Chris Fox says,
I guess I should after all these years.
Chris Fox says, Tyvis, no Steelers stuff, please.
That goes back to earlier. That's a nice recall.
I could wear a Shazier or Cam.
No, Ohio State.
Paul Baker. We got some more. Paul Baker says the Cleveland Lumberjacks were the minor league affiliate of the Pittsburgh Penguins from 92 to 97.
A lot of people don't know that.
I don't know why anybody would hate for the Penguins.
Yeah, I did. Come on, the Lumberjacks. If you know where I can find a Lumberjacks jersey at, hit your boy up.
By the way, that's a great team name.
Get you a Lake Erie Monsters jersey.
They're not the Lake Erie Monsters anymore. Now they're the Cleveland Monsters.
Yeah, they're Cleveland. Salvatore the 216 has 3 super chats. First, remembered Max Struess flatlining Lou Dort on that pick last week with the exploding head emoji. He says, the Pacers game gave me ATL vibes. I know I shouldn't, but I feel worried if the Cav guards can't get around their defender and create, we lose composure. We need a few Obi Toppin / Aaron Gordon types on this team.
Oh, stop it.
Big dunkers.
2 more. Stephen Allen Spencer says, Tyvis, I'm 32 and buy jerseys on the regular. You do you, man. Don't listen to anyone else.
I agree.
Appreciate that.
And Charles T., last super chat of the day, says, Shedeur Sanders should be the pick. In high school, he spent his summers with the Mannings. In college, he spent his summers with Brady. Can make every throw and learned from the best.
Tom Brady does like him. Y'all always throwing Tom Brady out there.
This is the thing. We say that. You don't think Tennessee know that, too?
That's the elephant in the room.
He might not be there.
The elephant.
So what if it's Cam Ward? What do you do there?
The elephant in the room is we've been thinking the whole time.
Everybody talking about got the number 1 pick.
That is going to be Cam Ward going 1. But what if it's Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward is just looking at you?
It's going to be an interesting decision to make.
Also, Anthony said Paul Baker, who sent in that super chat, he grew up with them. So shout out to Paul.
I would say
some Anthony as a kid stories.
Is he short? The same Paul Baker?
I have no idea, but I want to shout him out anyway.
I could totally see that if Shedeur Sanders go 1 to Tennessee, the Browns sprint Travis Hunter's name up there.
Why would that be the case?
Because then they get a corner if Denzel ever went down, or if they need somebody opposite of Denzel, he have it, and then you have Jerry Jeudy, you have another receiver at wide receiver.
And Newsome and Emerson both only have 1 year left.
Yeah, so you planning ahead. See, because then it might not be a popular opinion, but you could actually pay G New. He wouldn't, and it ain't like he got.
Or you could do the right thing and not pay him.
Well, he won't break the bank.
He won't pick the bank off either. That was a stretch. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Peace.
Well, that was a good unison of peace.
Yeah, it was, man.
Nice piecing.